What up, y'all? How we doing? Hopefully you just join me for that breathwork medley. If not, maybe you want to go back to it and start with that, or maybe you do it at the end. Either way, let's get right into it. So, some different things I want to hit on. Main thing is the reticular activating system. Maybe you've heard of that. Maybe you've heard of it particularly recently. It People are starting to talk about it. And what I mean by that is, of course, neuroscientists always talk about it, understand its importance, but and you start seeing it more in mainstream where people start mentioning it. And when that happens, I think, oh man, people actually care a little bit. So then I'll talk about it. The reticular activating system is important because it is located in the brainstem and is a very the further back you go, the more ancient the the evolution is. So it's been with humans for a very long time. All animals have it, and it does a lot of different things. But one of the main things it does is it's responsible for really sorting through, sifting through all information brought in through your senses. So you can imagine that's a lot of information. And its importance is that without it, then you would think everything is important, right? So that is very not useful. What if everything you saw, you touched, you tasted, you smelled, you heard, you automatically had all at the same level of importance? Then that would we wouldn't be here right now. That's for sure. So putting things in a hierarchy of importance is crucial, and it is still crucial today. It also controls your arousal and alertness level, which is interesting in that it's also controlling what's the information that's coming in, how it perceives it, and how that makes you, how aroused and how alert that information coming in makes you. So you have to understand, like, the main thing that people know the reticular activation system for is when you start, when you change your mind about something, or you see something somewhere, or you make a purchase. Let's say you buy a car, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you buy that car, you start seeing that same car on the road everywhere. Oh, everyone bought the same car as you at the same time, right? No. What happens is the level of importance placed on certain objects changes based on the decisions that you make. And that's why those same cars were all around you, but you didn't pay it any attention. Right. So where your attention goes, energy flows. The reason that's important is it comes back to something that I constantly talk about and believe wholeheartedly is you have to orient your life. You have to order yourself towards the highest possible good for you. Whatever that may look like for you, it looks different for everyone. I think there's some building blocks and there's some pillars in there, but everyone's journey is going to be different. Everyone's priorities is going to be different. And if you don't prioritize certain things, or forget about if you don't, if you do prioritize certain things, if you do orient yourself towards certain things, if you do put order in your life and have a sense of orderliness, then you can take all the elements of your life and design them in such a way that they bring you towards your goals, or who you want to be and things that you want to achieve, whatever it means to be successful for you. And the reticular activation system plays a big part in that, because if you start thinking of new ways to be healthy, new ways to make more money, new ways to anything, then your brain will start filtering things out and bringing certain things to the forefront of your mind to allow you to see that which you desire. And you got to see it to believe it, right? For most people, you got to see it to believe it. It really should be the opposite. You got to believe it before you see it, because you have to put these principles in place. You have to get your reticular activating system working in the way you want it to work to, because you can direct, command, compel your DNA, your reticular activating system, your brain, your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. You can command, compel, control those things. And that goes into a part of controlling your effort level. Can't control the outcome, but you can control your effort. So part of effort is being crystal clear on what it is that you want. We've talked about, when you ask most people what they want, they have no clue, but they know what they don't want. So their reticular activating system is designed by them to bring them all that they don't want. So everywhere they go, they see exactly what they don't want. What they do want could be right next to it, but they'll see exactly what they don't want every single time, because they've trained themselves to be that way. And that's what people call law of attraction. Where is your mind at? It's really a law of radiance. What are you radiating? What frequency are you putting out? Because if you're putting out a frequency where you only see the good, and you only see the best in every situation, and you only see opportunity, then you will begin to see more and more opportunity, because you've trained yourself for that. But if you're a person that has trained themselves to see lack, then you will see lack everywhere. There's plenty of lack to be seen. There's plenty of that survival mentality to be seen. There's plenty of abundance to be seen. It's just a matter of which one you choose to see and how you choose to process it. Just heard a story today. I've heard this before. It was kind of told in a different way, but it's about which wolf do you feed, right? I've talked about many times that you're either feeding aging or you're feeding reverse aging. You're either feeding health or you're anti-health, right? Everything is, it's really the duality, and you're either going one way or you're going the other. There is in between. In between is like status quo, but you're really always leaning one direction or the other. But the story was about which wolf do you feed. You probably have heard this before, like which person you become is is designed by you. Which wolf do you feed? There's two different wolves. There's two very powerful wolves inside of you, and one of them is going to be of evil. It's going to be of scarcity. It's going to be of of just treachery and powerlessness. You know, all those kind of things that we call bad. There is no bad or good. Only thinking makes it so. We call these things bad, we call these things good, but they aren't. They just are, however they are. It's our perception, and it's our ego that makes us say, well, I want this and I don't want that, therefore it must be bad and this must be good. So which wolf you feed? Are you going to feed the one that is just out always looking for the negative, is always looking for the next worst thing that could happen? Or are you going to feed the wolf that is accountable, that is responsible, right? Responsible, has the ability to respond in any given situation. I'd much rather be that person than the person who says can't and is powerless and everything is out of my control and blah, blah, blah. Those are all just excuses to keep you status quo. It's ego. When your ego begins to dissolve and you start moving in the direction of your dreams, then you are feeding the wolf that is of nobility and is of good and is of compassion and empathy and has the ability to care for others and has the ability to care for itself. Really, it really comes down to which wolf do you feed when it comes to yourself, because whatever you think of yourself is going to be radiated out into the world. So if you don't think much of yourself, you're not going to think much of the world. If you don't believe that what you do matters, then you're going to act like it. People are going to be able to see it on you every single second. And that's what you end up attracting. It's people of like manner. But if you don't want that, then you can change your reticular activating system. One way to intervene is dopamine fasting. We've talked about that before. Dopamine fasting. We're in a society where we go from one thing to the next really quick, right? So right now, I could be writing, and then I can come to my computer, and then I could open my phone, and then I could change the music, and then I could text somebody, and then I could call somebody, and I could FaceTime someone on my computer, and I could have the TV on in the background, right? I could do all that. And we could do that in the world too, right? You're at your office, you look at your computer, you're writing, you're listening to music, you're having a conversation. You cannot multitask. It is not possible. You cannot do two things with full focus at once. It's not possible. What you can do is switch between things very quickly. Your brain can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There is a focus lag. So you're never really truly doing anything 100%. We're not designed for that. But what you can do is implement stop and stare. Talked about a lot of simple things. None more simple than this right here. Stop and stare is exactly as it sounds. So when you're going to be run by your electricity, right? Your electric signal is sent from your brain to your hand, and boom, you go and you grab your phone. Boom, you go and you open your laptop. Boom, you walk over here. Boom, you start writing whatever, right? Instead of that, when that electricity flows and you feel, oh, I'm about to, and you can catch yourself in that moment and you can stop and stare. And there's a lot of benefits to stopping and staring, giving your brain a moment to rest, especially when you're in the middle of things, when you're working hard, when you're in deep thought, when you're writing an essay, when you're anything. If you just stop and stare blankly, even if you look out the window or you just whatever, stared at the ocean. But I'm talking about you're in an office or even you're at home watching TV, right? You're about to switch from one thing to another, or you're about to get your phone out while you're watching TV, or you're about to go from one app to another. Stop and stare. And this is beneficial in many different ways. One way it's really helpful is for people who are trying to learn something. When you're trying to learn something, the natural inclination would be to study hard, right? And of course, it's always going to be study smart, work smart, exercise smart, eat smart, never hard. So as much as that inclination might be to strain yourself, and believe me, I have lived in that way, you can intervene in a more smart manner. And so when you have all your notes, let's say, you're looking over them, you're reading over them, you're writing them over again, you're doing all the good study habits. One thing you can do is just stop and stare. And there's a great study that shows that people who implement the stop and stare method learn twice as much as the people who don't implement the stop and stare method. And it's because your brain learns when it has some rest, when it's just overloaded with information. It's not taking in that much because of your reticular activating system. You can flood the reticular activating system and it's not going to take in anywhere near 100%. It's going to, as soon as you're putting things in, it's throwing shit out. Nope, 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 because you don't have that much storage. We have limited storage in our brain, literally. Um, the brain starts deleting people. That's the something that it does. It deletes experiences. It 100% deletes people. We're a tribal animal for a long time, living in groups of 120 or less. And now it seems like the range for the average person is to store 120 to 300 faces and memories. So when let's say you get to that 400 range of people that you've met, people you consider close friends or just friends in general, your brain is like just throwing shit out, just throwing the faces out, throwing memories out because it doesn't have space for that. It's gonna get rid of whatever it feels to be non-pertinent information, and you decide that what is pertinent and what is non-pertinent to you. Stop and stare. Another thing, very simple, is eyes at eye level. Right now, my eyes are at eye level. If I look up to the camera, my eyes are above eye level. Most people are looking down. They're looking down at their phone. They're looking down at their computer. They're looking down in general. Maybe even looking down while they walk outside, looking down or right. Okay. Looking down promotes sleepiness. Looking down lowers arousal rate. Looking down lowers alertness. Eyes at eye level or above promotes awakeness, alertness, produces tonic chemicals. Now, there's definitely lots of reasons for this, and definitely lots of evolutionary reasons in terms of we used to be an animal that looked to the horizon for danger and for promise, but we often were looking to the horizon. Now, there's something called tech neck. You may have heard it, you may have it. Is when you're looking straight down and your neck muscles are atrophying. So I don't even really know how people are doing this. It looks so uncomfortable. I think we're going to speciate, which is when we turn into a different species, and we're gonna have a whole line of people with weak neck muscles that were basically their neck is coming straight out of their chest. But I digress. This is a hack. You can set things up. You can set your office up. You can set your phone up, right? Literally bringing it up. And you say, oh, I can't hold it like that. Well, then stop looking at it so much. You can set your TV up, right? So, I'm not going to be a big promoter of TV or a big promoter of whatever, but you got to do whatever you got to do. Or you don't got to do, but you're going to do whatever you're going to do. So whatever I can get you to incorporate, I'm gonna do my best. And if you could put your TV up and put it up higher, most people are looking down at their TV. Eyes at eye level or higher promotes alertness. So would you rather feel alert or would you rather feel sleepy? Everything is an energy game. And if you're looking for little productivity hacks, little energy hacks, you want to feel a little bit better, right? If you say, how can I be happy? I can't tell you. But if you ask me how you can be happier, I may have some suggestions for you. And these things all work for me. It becomes on autopilot. I'm not thinking about most of these things I'm not thinking about, oh, is this good or bad for me? It's just the way that I am. It's my lifestyle. I don't have to think about every single little thing because I've already oriented my environment to be best for me. One of those things that I currently just began is a meal plan service. Oh, I've talked about this guy, Stan Efferding, former bodybuilder and power lifter. And I've done a lot of research on him, listened to him a lot. And he has not been selling this meal prep service that he does in terms of promoting it. It's just been something that's really been more so in the background. And that's probably why I've gotten it. And I think it's going to be great. I really like the meal options. I really love that I was able to customize the meals that I wanted. And I definitely, it's going to be very different. I'm not used to having food at my disposal at all times. I fast a lot. I fast easily over 16 hours every day, probably most days over 20, some days over 25, some days 30 plus. And that's when I feel my best. So having food at my disposal will definitely be different. I don't think it'll really change anything other than when it comes time to eat, food will be there. And it's all organic, but it's not kale salads. It's real food. Nothing against kale salad. I do actually like kale salad. But I'm on a plan right now, really a holistic plan to burn fat and gain muscle, and this food is going to be huge for that. It's also going to be big for me. I'm going to start a new position where I'm going to need food that I can have accessible, bring it with me. And also, my girlfriend just became a doula. So she's going to be in and out of these hospitals, in and out of these home births. And I don't want her to, make any kind of decisions she wouldn't, any kind of decision she doesn't have to. We're not fast food people, literally, not at all. But cooking can definitely be time consuming, and she's actually a tremendous chef, so she loves cooking. I do not enjoy cooking so much. So this would be a really easy way for us to maintain a certain lifestyle, a certain caliber of lifestyle. And I think it's actually going to increase our nutrition for sure, because these meals are really well thought out, really well planned out. We're going to be able to consistently, every single day, we'll have no excuse not to eat early, which I'm a big believer of. I feel so much better if I eat at 6 p.m. or before and have a lot of time to digest before going to sleep. And I think this is just one of many things we've incorporated that is going to boost energy levels and start later on this week. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I think the food's gonna taste great. They got this dude is walking around at 300 pounds. So a lot of other 300-pound power lifters, bodybuilders, offensive linemen swear by this meal plan service, and they wouldn't be doing that if it didn't taste amazing. I can pretty much guarantee you that. So really looking forward to it. I think it's just one thing, just one more thing, and one more productivity hack, one more health optimization move, and it also is gonna end up saving us money. So there's like a no-brainer. There's absolutely no downside to it, and like I said, really looking forward to it. So we covered the meal plan. We covered the reticular activating system, stop and stare for dopamine, fast, and eyes at eye level. do with that what you may. I hope that between that and the breath work that we did, you gained something. Um, Knowledge is not power. Using the knowledge is power. So hopefully you've heard these things before. It's not the first time. And if it is the first time, then, don't just think about it, implement it. And with all these things compounding over time, you will find that you will have an increased energy level and an increased ability to reach whatever goals that you want. And you will be able to even set higher goals because hitting your goals is really directly associated with discipline and energy level. It's a lot easier to be disciplined when you have a high energy level, and it's a lot easier to hit your goals when you have a high energy level because you're disciplined. So again, wish you the best of luck. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to hear me talk about. Let me know what you've implemented into your daily routine, and see you soon. Peace.